Short and very strong comments coming from the former president as the motion to declare the trial a mistrial was denied by the judge, amongst other things. Let's get back to you, Judge.
The motion for mistrial was denied. They apparently re-upped the motion again after today's testimony of Stormy Daniels, and they also are questioning the gag order yet again. Since Stormy Daniels has already testified, she's been trashing him. Why shouldn't he be able to respond to what she said since she's no longer a witness? Right? I mean, it's not like he's intimidating her. She's already testified. You mean cross, redirect, cross, and redirect. So, today I saw a woman who was not altogether there. I mean, you made reference to it about paranormals and talking to dead people. But Stormy Daniels did not have a life until she met with Donald Trump. When she met with Donald Trump, that's when she started becoming famous and making money. And her credibility is shot in front of that jury. First of all, she has nothing to do with why Donald Trump is on trial right now for those 34 separate incidents of the payments going from the Trump organization to Michael Cohen. She couldn't touch Donald Trump. She had no information as it related to those bookkeeping records. That's number one. Number two, her credibility was shot. She said she had dinner with Donald Trump. Then, no, I didn't really have dinner with Donald Trump. But since it was dinner time, I meant I was having dinner because you would have dinner at dinner time, even though I didn't eat anything. I mean, the woman was making no sense at all. And then she talked about the fact that she had the NDA for $130,000. She got a book deal for $800,000. She got an interview with In Touch. She also made $120,000 on some kind of tour. She did the Make America Horny Again tour. I mean, she sold all kinds of merchandise. She goes on and on. And you know what I found so stunning? She said, I was in 200 porn films before I met him, and I wrote about 150 porn stories and directed them. Yeah, that's great. You can make up these stories and direct them. And in fact, that's what you're doing right here. And the truth is that, she kept saying that I wanted to get the story out. I did. Well, you could have had a press conference immediately. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In Touch, Slate wanted to do an interview, but they weren't offering you money, so you didn't do it with Slate. This went on for hours, and I won't bore you anymore other than to tell you she's a little off, this woman. And to subject this jury to the testimony that they had to listen to that is totally irrelevant, not probative, and prejudicial in this case, this is grounds for an appeal. And I'll tell you something else. On the redirect, the prosecution went in and made sure that she made clear that there was no force, because she was the one who yesterday talked about an imbalance of power. All of a sudden, the prosecution is pulling back. The reason they're pulling back is they're making an allegation of rape here, an untold allegation. So they had to back it up because that is reversible errors, as sure as I'm sitting here. And finally, her testimony it had nothing to do with the case. And that's why they didn't call Karen McDougal. That's why they pulled back.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
They didn't call her because they knew they went overboard on this. Karen McDougal had nothing to do with this and the payments to Michael Cohen. They just want to trash Donald Trump any way they can. And that's why he was furious. He had a right to be furious. I know of no defendant in any case where they would bring a woman who alleges she slept with him almost 20 years ago to talk about a crime that happened allegedly 11 years later. It was pathetic. It was tawdry. It was salacious. It was ugly. And you know what? She acts like what she is.
Okay, Greg, on any of that, or also on Hillary Clinton providing therapy?
I didn't know that Stormy could talk to dead people. Maybe she should hook up with our current president. She should head to the White House, bring those candles to hide the flatulence. It's funny how the media actually does treat this case like a porn movie. Let's just skip past the boring stuff, the dialogue, and get to the action. Problem is, this isn't a porno. It's a court case, and the boring stuff is the actual charge. This action is just the shiny toy to distract you and get ratings, and they also can't explain the charge, because if they explained it to you, you would go, that's not a charge. It's about an accounting practice, how an expense was logged in. See, you're already bored. This is like the dialogue in a porno. The media needs to fast forward to it because they're going to lose your interest. I think the Democrats are learning the lessons that you learn from junk food. It could taste really good at first, but then at the end of the day, you're sick to your stomach. Stormy provides the sugar rush, the dopamine hit of titillation, but what do you have left? You have a president getting stronger, the challenger getting stronger, the sitting president getting weaker and looking weaker. It's a lesson in life. You can't eat away your problems. You can't drink away your problems. The problems get bigger, and so do you.
All right, Jesse Waters.
I agree with you. He was furious after court and was furious before he even got into court. He said something that I thought was very significant. All they think about, Biden's fanatical left, is arresting and killing their opponent. Now, he's never used the word killing before, and I thought that was Donald Trump laying down a marker. Because remember the first term. Madonna, let's blow up the White House. Johnny Depp, poison him. Kathy Griffin, behead him. Snoop Dogg, cap to the skull. It was a very hostile time in American history. And sometimes we forget about that, and you can almost feel it boiling back up again. Last night, Jen Psaki mentioned Trump dying. The constant repetition of the propaganda of that we need to save democracy from a genocidal Nazi dictator. Joe Biden, just the other day, said that Donald Trump is going to get back in office and seek vengeance on all of Democrats. That is just enough for an unhinged man to come up and try to be the hero and try to save the country. So that word, I thought, was a powerful, calculated word that he used today. And Hillary's playing right into it. Hillary's in the morning on MSNBC. Remember, she's the one that pushed the Russia hoax. And then now she's pushing the dictator hoax. And if anybody needs therapy, it's Hillary. She has never gotten over losing in 2016. I suggest you sit down on the couch, talk to Dr. Freud, who's no longer with us, and just say that you haven't gotten over losing.
Dr. Phil.
Or Phil. Do what Al Gore did. Make a lot of money and get divorced, is what an insensitive pundit would say.
Yes.
I really liked the fact that Rick Scott went out there today. And I'm wondering, where the hell have all the Republicans been? This is when you come in and all of the leaders of the House and the Senate hold a press conference outside the courtroom and say, this is a travesty. This is un-American, and this cannot stand. I expect to see that at some point.
And the final word to you, Richard, whatever you want to say here. You can keep it short because we don't have a lot of time.
I don't know. I would start where Jesse ended. I think they were trying to fight off of Marjorie Taylor Greene ousting the speaker.
Yes.
That was
So that's where
yesterday,
they
that's
all
true.
were.
Yes, well, they don't work every day of the week,
They were
Richard.
resting up after that battle. It took them a lot of work to beat Marjorie Taylor Greene. But no, I actually agree with the judge, a particular point that she made that I want to double click on, because I think she was right around the idea that this Stormy Daniels testimony took way too long and it has little to do with the case. When it comes to the only thing that I think you needed Stormy Daniels for on both sides of this was to say there was an NDA and there was money exchange. And once that happens, she could have left. She could have left, right? Because that goes back to the fact pattern here, which is what the prosecution is trying to prove. And I don't know if Trump is innocent or guilty. That's for the jury to decide. But basically how this case boils down is this. In 2016, after the Access Hollywood tapes come out, according to the prosecution, the Trump team was in limbo. They were scared. They were nervous. They were trying to tamp down any other type of stories like this that could have come out. Stormy Daniels was one of those. That's how Michael Cohen gets involved. He's trying to hush Stormy Daniels. There's this transfer of $130,000. That is what this case is about. The prosecution is alleging that this is political interference in the election, and that is why there's a jury a couple blocks from here trying to decide that. The melee that we heard today about possums and did you hear the possum? Did you speak to the dead person? Did you buy the candle? All of that is hocus pocus when it comes to the actual case of 34 different felony counts of falsifying business records that leads to engaging in messing with the election, which I think is the purpose of this investigation. And the star witness here that we're waiting to hear from is Michael Cohen, the person who actually made these payments on behalf of the former president. And we're waiting to hear from that because that's the ballgame.
And that's the point. The guy who actually executed this whole thing is now against the guy that he gave advice to do that. which again, like I say, it's like suing the patient after he gets destroyed by the doctor.
And
Doesn't
the
think it was
judge
connected, he
has
did it.
prevented Donald Trump from saying he did it on the advice of counsel.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.